The kitchen smelled like garlic and rosemary. I could hear the rain starting outside, tapping against the window above the sink. The table was set with our wedding china, the good stuff we only use twice a year. Candles, wine breathing in the decanter. I'd left work early to pick up the dry cleaning and stop at the florist. 10 years. A decade of marriage reduced to one envelope sitting between the salad plates, crisp and white like a dinner mint. She slid it across the table before I could even sit down. "What's this?" I asked. "Open it," she said. Her voice was flat, professional, like she was handing me a quarterly report. I opened it. Eviction notice. 30 days to vacate the premises. My own house. The mortgage I'd been paying for 12 years, 3 of them before we even got married. I didn't shout. I didn't slam my fist on the table or demand an explanation. My chest went still, the way a room goes still right before a storm breaks. I looked at her face across the candlelight, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Certainty. She'd already made every decision. This wasn't a conversation, it was a sentencing. "You're serious," I said. "Completely." I set the paper down next to my untouched wine. She had no idea what she'd set in motion. "My name is Daniel Grant. I'm 52 years old. For the past 19 years, I've worked as a contract compliance officer for a mid-sized construction firm. It's not glamorous work. I review procurement documents, flag irregularities, make sure subcontractors follow protocol. Most people's eyes glaze over when I explain what I do. My wife's certainly did. Catherine stopped asking about my work sometime around year 4. We'd been married 10 years, together for 13. On the surface, we looked stable. 2-story colonial in a decent school district. No kids, but we'd stopped talking about that around year 6. Joint accounts, shared calendar, annual trip to her parents' lake house every August. The kind of marriage that photographs well. But photographs don't show the small erasures. The way she'd interrupt me mid-sentence at dinner parties to clarify what I really meant. The way my paycheck became our money, while her salary, nearly identical to mine, was her savings. The way she'd started saying, "I'm going out," instead of, "We're going out," and I'd stopped asking where. 3 months before our anniversary, we'd gone grocery shopping together. Rare, since she usually went alone. I'd reach for a different brand of coffee, something on sale. "We don't buy that," she'd said, putting it back. "It's the same coffee, $2 cheaper." "I don't care. We buy the other one." I'd let it go. I let a lot go. The Thursday before our anniversary, I'd suggested we drive down to the coast for the weekend, just the 2 of us. She didn't even look up from her phone. "I have plans," she said. "We could make plans together," I tried. "I said I have plans, Daniel. I'm not rescheduling my life because you suddenly feel romantic." I should have seen it sooner. But I didn't see the eviction notice coming. Not that. Not on our anniversary, served like dessert between the china and crystal I'd paid for. She sat across from me, backlit by the kitchen pendant light, and sipped her wine like we were discussing vacation dates. Her posture was relaxed, almost bored. She'd worn the dress I'd bought her last Christmas, which felt calculated now, a small cruelty wrapped in silk. "I've been talking to someone," she said. "A lawyer. He says because the house was yours before the marriage, things get complicated. But you've been adding me to everything over the years. Joint accounts, joint deed, it's equitable distribution now." "Equitable," I repeated. "I'm keeping the house. You're leaving. 30 days is generous, actually. Marcus said I could push for immediate vacancy, but I thought I'd be kind." Marcus. Her lawyer had a first name. They were on familiar terms. "What if I don't leave?" I asked, not aggressive, just curious. She smiled, actually smiled. "Then it gets messy and expensive. For you, mostly. I know you hate mess, Daniel. You'll leave." She checked her phone, typed something, set it down. "There's more," she continued. "I want half of your 401k and spousal support. Marcus says we have a strong case since I've been," she paused, searching for the phrase, "financially dependent on your stability all these years." The candles flickered. Outside, the rain picked up. "You make the same salary I do," I said. "Had," she corrected. "I quit 3 weeks ago. I'm pursuing my wellness coaching certification. It's a career transition. Very stressful. I'll need support during this vulnerable time." She'd rehearsed this, every word. "And if I fight it?" I asked. "You won't." She said it with such confidence, such absolute certainty. "You never fight, Daniel. You're too reasonable, too civil. That's always been your problem. You'll sign whatever Marcus sends over, you'll pack your things, and you'll go. Because that's what you do. You accommodate." She wasn't wrong. I'd spent a decade accommodating her, adjusting, shrinking. I picked up the eviction notice, read it again. It had been filed 4 days ago. She'd known about this dinner, known she'd be serving me papers, and she'd let me make reservations, buy flowers, plan an anniversary evening like a fool. "I'll need an answer by Monday," she said. "Marcus wants to move quickly." I folded the notice, put it in my jacket pocket. "Okay," I said. Her eyes narrowed, just slightly. She'd expected more resistance, even from passive Daniel. Something in my tone had landed wrong. "Okay, what?" "I'll think about it," I said. I stood up, put my napkin on the table. "Thank you for dinner." I walked out of the kitchen, grabbed my keys from the bowl by the door, and left. I heard her call after me, but the rain swallowed it. That was the moment something inside me went quiet. I checked into a Hampton Inn off the highway, the kind of place with thin walls and ice machines that rattle all night. I didn't care. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the painting of a lighthouse bolted to the wall. The room smelled like industrial cleaner and old carpet. I didn't feel angry. I felt focused. I pulled out my phone and started opening apps. Bank accounts, emails, shared cloud drives. I didn't scroll frantically. I moved with precision, the same way I reviewed contracts at work. One line item at a time, one discrepancy at a time. Joint savings account, $47,000. I deposited $44,500 of it over the past 3 years. Her contributions were minimal, sporadic. Joint checking, my direct deposit, every 2 weeks, like clockwork. The house deed, yes, we were both on it. I'd added her name 6 years ago after she'd cried about not feeling like a real partner. I remembered signing those papers. I remembered her smile. I took screenshots, 37 of them, organized them into folders by category: financial, property, communications. At 11:14 p.m., I opened my email and searched her name. Hundreds of messages. I started reading, slowly, carefully. There, from 7 months ago, an email thread with someone named Drew. Not about wellness coaching, not about career transitions, dinner plans, hotel confirmations, affectionate closings. I downloaded everything, saved it to 3 different locations. At 12:40 a.m., I called my college roommate, Eric. He'd become a family law attorney, though we'd barely spoken in 5 years. "Daniel?" His voice was groggy. "What's wrong?" "I need a referral," I said. "Someone good, someone who doesn't lose." I heard him sit up. "What happened?" "My wife served me eviction papers at our anniversary dinner. She wants the house, my retirement, and spousal support. She quit her job to manufacture need." Silence. Then, "Jesus, Daniel, how are you?" "I'm fine," I said. "I need someone who handles cases like this, preferably someone who's seen Marcus Tillman before." "Tillman?" Eric laughed once, sharp. "Oh, you're going to be fine. I know exactly who to call." He gave me a name, Sarah Chen. He'd send her my number. I thanked him and hung up. The rain had stopped. I could hear a couple arguing through the wall, muffled and distant. Silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy. Sarah Chen called me at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. I was in the hotel lobby, drinking terrible coffee from a styrofoam cup, watching the breakfast buffet restock. "Eric says you're getting screwed," she said. No preamble. I liked her immediately. "That's the plan, apparently." "Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out." I did. The eviction notice, the 401k demand, the manufactured job loss, the affair I'd found evidence of but hadn't mentioned yet. She interrupted twice to ask specific questions about dates and dollar amounts. She took notes. I could hear her typing. "Here's what's going to happen," she said when I finished. "You're going to send me every screenshot, every email, every bank statement you have access to. You're going to write down a timeline of major events in the marriage. And you're not going to communicate with her at all unless it's through me. Nothing. Not a text, not a call, nothing." "What about the 30-day notice?" "Ignore it. It's performative. She doesn't have grounds to evict you from your own property, and Tillman knows it. He's banking on you rolling over. Don't." I felt something loosen in my chest. What do I do in the meantime? You live your life. Go to work. Pay your bills. Document everything. If she contacts you, screenshot it and send it to me. If she shows up, record it. Be boring. Be predictable. Be impossible to provoke. I can do that. Good, because we're about to make Marcus Tillman's life very difficult. She hung up. I checked the time. 8:47 a.m. I went back to the house on Sunday to get clothes. Catherine's car was gone. The kitchen had been cleaned, the china put away, the candles removed, like the dinner had never happened. I packed 2 suitcases, took my work laptop, grabbed files from my home office. On my desk, I found a note in her handwriting. "Daniel, let's be adults about this. Sign the papers when Marcus sends them. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I took a picture of the note, sent it to Sarah. Her response came back in 30 seconds. "Perfect. She's still talking. Letter." Monday morning, I went to work. Told no one. Reviewed procurement files. Flagged a potential billing irregularity in a subcontractor's invoice. Had lunch at my desk. At 3:15 p.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Catherine. "You didn't come home last night. Where are you staying?" I didn't respond. Screenshot. Send to Sarah. Another text at 4:02 p.m. "This silent treatment is childish. We need to talk." Screenshot. Send. At 6:30 p.m. "Fine. Marcus is filing tomorrow. Hope you've got a good lawyer." Screenshot. Send. Sarah called me at 7 p.m. "She's panicking. Keep ignoring her." Tuesday, the formal papers arrived. Dissolution of marriage. Asset distribution demands. Request for temporary spousal support. Marcus Tillman's letterhead, cream-colored and expensive-looking. I scanned every page, sent them to Sarah. She called back within an hour. "He's overreached," she said. "Badly. The spousal support claim is going to collapse the second we show her voluntary job termination and comparable salary history. The 401k demand ignores premarital contribution timelines. And this eviction threat?" She laughed. "It's posturing. We're going to eat this alive." What do we do? "I'm filing our response Thursday. In the meantime, I need you to get me 3 years of tax returns, all joint account statements, and any evidence you have of her extracurricular activities." I sent her everything that night. 37 screenshots, email threads, hotel receipts I'd found in her cloud backup. Everything. Wednesday, Catherine called. I let it go to voicemail. Her message. "Daniel, this is ridiculous. Just call me back. We can settle this like adults without dragging lawyers into everything. I'm willing to be flexible." I saved the voicemail, sent it to Sarah. Sarah's response. "She's scared. Good." Thursday morning, my bank sent an alert. Someone had attempted to transfer $23,000 from our joint savings. The transaction had been flagged and blocked pending dual authorization. I called the bank. Confirmed I had not authorized any transfer. They froze the account. I forwarded the alert to Sarah. She called me immediately. "Did you freeze it?" The bank did, automatically. Beautiful. She just tried to drain a joint account mid-divorce proceeding. Marcus is going to lose his mind. That afternoon, Sarah filed our response. She emailed me a copy. I read it in my hotel room with the curtains open, afternoon light slanting across the desk. It was surgical. Every one of Catherine's demands dismantled with statute references and financial documentation. A counterclaim for return of premarital assets, a request for her to vacate the property she was trying to evict me from, and an attached exhibit, email evidence of her affair dated to months before she filed. Sarah had ended with a single paragraph that made me smile for the first time in days. Petitioner's claim of financial dependence is contradicted by her voluntary employment termination, comparable salary history, and documented expenditure on extramarital relationship activities. The court's time should not be wasted on manufactured need. My phone rang at 5 p.m. Unknown number. I answered. Daniel. Marcus Tillman's voice, smooth, practiced. I think we got off on the wrong foot here. Did we? Your attorney's response is aggressive. I don't think that serves anyone's interests. Catherine is willing to negotiate. She doesn't want this to get ugly. It's already ugly, Marcus. She served me eviction papers on our anniversary. That was unfortunate timing. But let's move past that. What would it take for you to settle this reasonably? I don't negotiate with opposing counsel directly, I said. You know that. I'm trying to save you money, Daniel. Litigation is expensive. So is bank fraud, I said. Tell Catherine to stop trying to drain joint accounts. I hung up. Sarah called 10 minutes later, laughing. He called you? Directly? Oh, he's rattled. He wanted to settle. Of course he did. We just shredded his entire case. He's trying to contain the damage before it gets to a courtroom. What happens now? Now we wait. He'll file a motion to dismiss some of our counterclaims. We'll oppose it. We'll get a hearing date. And then we go to court and watch this fall apart. Friday, Catherine showed up at my office. Security called me at 2 p.m. Mr. Grant? There's a Catherine Grant here to see you. She says she's your wife. Tell her I'm in a meeting, I said, and call me if she doesn't leave in 5 minutes. She left in 3. That night, I got an email from her personal account. Subject line, please. I opened it. Daniel, I don't understand what's happening. You're acting like a stranger, like I'm some kind of enemy. We were married for 10 years. That has to mean something. Can we please just talk? Face to face? No lawyers, just us. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I forwarded it to Sarah. Her response, don't reply, but save it. This is what desperation looks like. The hearing was set for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, I moved back into the house. Sarah had filed an emergency motion, and the judge granted it. Catherine was the one who had to leave. She texted me once, the day she packed her things. I hope you're proud of yourself. I didn't respond. The courthouse smelled like floor wax and old paper. The conference room was smaller than I'd expected, fluorescent lights humming overhead, a long table with chairs on either side. Sarah sat next to me with 3 accordion files of documentation. Marcus Tillman sat across from us, looking less confident than his letterhead suggested. Catherine sat beside him in a navy dress, hands folded on the table, eyes down. The mediator, a woman named Judge Patricia Holloway, reviewed the filings for 10 minutes in silence. Finally, she looked up. This is a mess, she said. Your Honor, Marcus started, if I could just... It's a mess, she repeated. Ms. Chen, your counterclaims are substantial. Mr. Tillman, your client's financial affidavit is contradicted by her own bank records. Someone want to tell me what we're really doing here? Sarah slid a folder across the table. Your Honor, the reality is simple. Mrs. Grant attempted to manufacture financial need by voluntarily terminating employment, then sought to evict her husband from property he owned prior to marriage while simultaneously draining joint accounts. The documentation is comprehensive. Judge Holloway opened the folder, flipped through pages. Her expression didn't change, but I saw her jaw tighten. Mr. Tillman, she said. Marcus shifted in his chair. Your Honor, my client was attempting to secure her financial future in what has been an emotionally abusive marriage. Stop, I said. Everyone looked at me. I didn't yell at her, I continued voice level. I didn't control her money. I didn't isolate her from friends or family. I paid bills. I went to work. I accommodated her needs even when they contradicted my own. If that's abuse, then the word has lost all meaning. Catherine's head came up. Her eyes were wet. You stopped caring, she said. You stopped trying. I stopped pretending, I said. There's a difference. Silence. Judge Holloway closed the folder. Here's what's going to happen, she said. Mrs. Grant, you're withdrawing the spousal support claim. You're returning any funds withdrawn from joint accounts. The house remains Mr. Grant's separate property, and you'll be compensated for marital equity contributions based on actual documented payments, not inflated estimates. Mr. Grant, you'll receive a distribution of marital assets proportional to contribution. This is equitable, not equal. Am I clear? Marcus opened his mouth, closed it. Your Honor, we'd like to review. No, she said. You've wasted enough of this court's time with bad faith filings. These terms are fair. Accept them or go to trial and lose worse. She stood. The meeting was over. Catherine didn't move. She stared at the table, tears running down her face, but she didn't make a sound. I felt something then. Not triumph, not vindication, just a deep, bone-tired sadness for what we'd both lost, and how we'd lost it. Catherine, I said quietly. She looked up. I hope you find what you're looking for. I meant it. I stood up, nodded to Sarah, and walked out. I didn't wait for her response. 2 weeks later, the papers were signed. The house was mine. The accounts were divided. Catherine moved into an apartment across town with Drew, the wellness coach she'd been seeing. I heard about it through mutual friends. I didn't ask for details. I changed the locks on a Saturday morning. It took 20 minutes. When I finished, I made coffee in the kitchen where she'd served me eviction papers. The morning light came through the window above the sink, clean and white. The rain from that night felt like years ago. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt unburdened. Silence isn't surrender. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's the pause you take before you remember who you are and what you will not accept. I'd spent 10 years making myself smaller to make her comfortable. When she tried to erase me completely, I finally stopped shrinking. I should have seen it sooner. I should have spoken up when my opinions were dismissed, when my money became ammunition, when my presence became an inconvenience. But I didn't. And maybe that's the price of learning who you are. Sometimes you have to lose yourself first. If you had been in my place, would you have fought back immediately? Or would you have taken time to build your case like I did? Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. Your presence means more than you know. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe. Let's keep walking this road together.